Last night I sat down and mapped out our entire move over the next couple of weeks. Naturally, the next morning the horses had something to say about all of my plans. This is something that I never like to see, and I'm so grateful that Ziggy was a good sport about being caught, and he also lured the girls in. Unfortunately, all their overnight shenanigans are going to disrupt my plans pretty significantly. This whole property does have a perimeter fence on it. Unfortunately, the driveway is the one point where these horses could escape. Thankfully, these girls really do love Ziggy, so I used them as bait to lure them back into the arena so they couldn't get themselves into any more trouble. What is Zig? I'm not exactly sure how long these horses have been out, but it's a good idea to give them a quick once over just to make sure there's no injuries. Ziggy got extra scratches for being such a good boy, and then I did notice that something was not right with Scarlet.
Oh, girl. Dang, girl. Zig, you're a good boy.
Sometime while these three were out on their little tour of the property, it looks like Scarlet got some kind of puncture wound on her leg.
It's okay, girl.
Her leg is really swollen. She does not want me to touch it, but it looks like she is able to walk on it okay. There's a lot of stuff she could have gotten into, but it looks like she has 2 holes on her leg. These 3 could have gotten into anything, but our neighbors do a fair bit of shooting, and to me it almost looks like a little BB or something. It's not unheard of to have a horse accidentally shot by someone, especially if they're in close proximity to a pasture like this. I looked over the boys really quickly, and I did notice that Studman whacked his head on something. It doesn't look too bad. He probably just hit it on a fence post while he was chasing the girls around as they were on their adventure. I found a little bit of evidence of where these 3 had been. I was hoping that would be the last bit of excitement for my day, but when I went into the barn to check on the other horses, Pearl was down and I had to help her get up. I don't think she was down for very long, but there were signs that she tried to get up and just could not. After I was able to help her up, she did show that she was having some signs of respiratory distress.
You okay, girl?
I'm hoping this is just because she was trying to get up and couldn't, so I'm going to keep a very close eye on her for the rest of the day. Unfortunately, this girl is still having very loose manure. She seems in pretty good spirits after this morning's ordeal, but it's never a good sign when an older horse starts having a lot of trouble getting themselves up. Just to make sure I didn't miss anything, I went back through her stall and checked her poop. The bugs are still out of control here, so I've been fly spraying all of these horses at least once a day, and I don't think it's making much difference. Pearl doesn't need to spend any of her limited energy fighting off the flies. Today was supposed to be the day that I packed up the horse trailer and took a big load of everything from the barn down to the new house. With Scarlet's hurt leg and Pearl not doing very well this morning, it looks like I am definitely going to have to change my plans, at least for the next couple of days. It also looks like while these horses were doing whatever they were doing last night, they brought some of the fence down. I'm just going to add it on my list of extra things I have to get done today because these three cannot get turned back out until this is fixed. The fence on this property is relatively safe, but there are a few things that I do not like about it. So I'm pretty excited to be putting up all new fence on our own property. The addition of the electric tape over the years has helped these horses respect this fence. But when they get to running around and playing, sometimes they do forget where everything is. I wanted to get a closer look at all of these boys. It looks like Studman isn't in too bad of spirits.
Peter, little Gus.
I did test out some wipe-on fly spray for little Gus yesterday and it dyed his hair, but I don't know that it's making the bugs stay away. I've also been dragging their dry lot every evening and I'm hoping that that will eventually cut down on the bugs.
Good boys.
These boys do have 2 big giant square bales in their dry lot now, so they have free choice feed all the time. Unfortunately, that does leave them a lot of other time to get into trouble. Whiplash has been using it to take over the herd, and the other horses hopefully will not escape anytime soon. Just when I thought I managed to get everything under control without the ranch foreman seeing Tiny slithered past. Since everybody's a little bit riled up, I'm going to spend some time cleaning the stalls and then I'll get a closer look at what's going on with Scarlet's leg. I know that she is definitely going to need an anti-inflammatory, so I mixed her up a special breakfast. Since she's able to walk on it okay, I am not freaking out just yet. The wound is very suspicious for something that went in and then out the other side. If she got poked on anything stationary, I would expect there to be more damage to the surrounding area, but I don't want to suspect anything like a gunshot wound without some confirmation from the vet. So I'm going to bring Scarlet in, get some better pictures and video, and then make a phone call into my vet and see if I need to bring her in. It looks like all of the other horses are doing well, so hopefully this is just a very minor injury for Scarlet that'll be able to be doctored for a few days and then she can go back to normal. I'm thinking that these girls just pushed on the gate and it just eventually became untied.
Mare.
These 3 also have free choice hay, so the amount of shenanigans that they are able to get into is pretty surprising. And it's looking like Prim spent a lot of her time out last night teasing the boys. While I'm waiting to hear back from the vet, I am going to go ahead and cold hose this, and hopefully that will bring down some of the inflammation and make it a lot less painful for this girl.
Come on, Mare.
Although I definitely don't have time for this with how busy I'm getting with the move, it is really nice that Scarlet is very even-keeled now and she can stand quietly even when everybody else is eating their breakfast. Unfortunately, when working at the emergency clinic, I did see quite a few gunshot wounds from pellet guns or BB guns. They do look very similar to what is going on with Scarlet, so I'm kind of hoping that's not what it is. But it is very odd that she has 2 puncture wounds right across from each other. I was able to get the swelling down a little bit with the cold hosing, but these anti-inflammatories should kick in fairly soon and hopefully that'll do the trick. I'm also going to put some liniment on it to hopefully draw out some of that heat while I wait to hear back from the vet. I have no doubt in my mind that Scarlet kept Prim and probably Ziggy as well quiet as they were out last night running around. Over the last year, she has become quite the sensible little horse. I cannot imagine her escaping last year with the amount of training that she had. She is much more curious and calm than she was last year, and I think if this were to happen when she was in a more frantic, scared state, her injury would be much worse. I know it seems ridiculous, but over the years I have had several friends have their horses accidentally shot, especially around this time of year. It's a pretty scary thing to think about, things ricocheting around the barn with so many animals. I did just hear back from the vet and she does want to see Scarlet right away. It's very tricky to get an emergency call this quickly with hardly any notice. With Scarlet having limited experience with hauling and being calm at new places, I'm really hesitant to take her into the vet. Thankfully, they are going to be going past my place a little bit later today and they will stop by and take a look at her. For now, she has her anti-inflammatories on board, she had her leg cold hosed, and there is some liniment on it. Without knowing what the wound is from, I am not going to wrap it at this point. I'm just going to wait for the vet to look at it. At this point in time today, I should have had the trailer halfway filled, but instead I am out here fixing fence. This is a good example of why you always want to put the fence on the inside of the posts. I don't know if these girls got excited and were pushing on the fence or what the deal was, but they popped all of the little staples out. These fencing staples are about the cheapest way to put up this type of fence, but when they pop out, they get all over the ground and the horses can certainly step on them. Luckily, I've never had that happen, but I did have little Gus roll on one of them, and that was a real chore trying to get it out. While I'm waiting for the vet to arrive, I'm going to do a few more chores around here. Yesterday, in preparation to pack, I did remove all of the panels and the shed from over in the quarantine area. It does look like there is a wasp's nest right in the handle of the tailgate. The last thing I need is to get stung up by a bunch of wasps today, so I'm gonna go and find some spray so I can take care of these little guys. I've been seeing a lot of wasps around lately. I think just in general there are more bugs out this year than usual because of the amount of rain we've gotten. With the vet about an hour away, I am going to catch up all of these horses. I'm going to give them all baths, rinse off the liniment from Scarlet's leg so the vet can inspect it properly. Since these three were also just frolicking around all night long, I want them to stand tied for a while so they can remember what it's like to be civilized. Zig is squeaky clean after his bath. He is getting a lot darker and seems to be getting more flea bites. Prim seems pretty unhappy about her situation this morning, but Scarlet is always a pretty bright and positive horse, even though she is pretty hurt right now. I know she is not feeling her best, and every time I go up to her, she lifts her leg like she really wants me to know that something is wrong.
Zigo. Good boy, Zig. Good boy.
I was really proud of how Scarlet stood for the vet. Usually she is a little bit squirmy still, but in the end we decided that this was probably just a poke from a piece of wire or something.
Okay, Mare, hold on.
In order for it to have been
Looks
any
better than
kind
it did
of
this morning.
gunshot, the trajectory would have gone through some pretty important structures in her leg.
I'll come back for you, Zig.
The fact that she's able to walk around properly and very minimally lame is a positive thing for sure. It makes me feel a whole lot better that there's not bullets ricocheting around the property,
Okay.
but it looks like I
Go
am
eat
going
a
to have
snack.
to find whatever object made this injury. Scarlet's injury
Zig.
is very close to the same area where Prim was hurt
Hello.
about a month ago. I'm wondering if all of these flies have them itching their legs on the fence. I really hate these fly traps because
I
they
know.
smell disgusting. But it's a whole lot better to put a few of these out to try and combat the fly situation than to have the horses continually getting hurt. I put one out for Pearl and Frisco. Nigel got his own little trap, and then these boys are going to get one probably right next to their dry lot, and then Ziggy and the girls will get one as well. If you have never smelled these things, I would definitely not recommend it.
What are you two doing?
I have smelled some
Good
pretty
boys.
disgusting things being around so many animals, but whatever concoction they mix up to put in the water of these traps is disgusting. Since a lot of these boys are pretty curious anyways, a few of them wanted to come up and have a
I like
sniff.
the smell of this, buddy.
Goose was the first victim, and he was pretty curious about the crinkling bag, but once he smelled what was inside, he did not want to stick around. I have used these a few times in the past, and I've put them inside the dry lot with these horses, and Stewie always takes them down and gets covered in this stinky juice. I was expecting the horses to not like the smell, but Pete certainly did not want to get anywhere near it. After filling up the disposable bag and letting the stink pods dissolve, I set out to find the perfect place to put this along the fence line. I'm still not confident that Stewie isn't gonna mess with this, so I do need to put it outside their dry lot.
Boys?
While I was at the feed store picking up these traps, I did get some more senior feed for Pearl and
Stuart.
Scarlet. She did get prescribed some antibiotics so her leg heals up as quickly as possible. Since I cannot leave the horses now that Scarlet is
Girls?
hurt, I'm going to have to rearrange my whole
know,
plan
girl.
for getting
I
some
know.
loads down to the new house. Scarlet needs her first dose of her antibiotics this evening, and unfortunately she is going to need to have that twice a day for the next week at least.
Here you go.
The horse sitter that I have coming out to watch these animals while I'm making trips back and forth is perfectly capable of watching these guys and keeping an eye out for anything that may come up, but it's a lot to ask to have someone sweat a horse's leg and give them antibiotics twice a day. With Pearl having some more problems now too, I just feel better if I stay for another week and then recalculate our trips. The flies have definitely been bothering Ziggy as well, and he is thoroughly enjoying all of his scratches these days. If these traps don't do the trick, I think I'm going to have to mix up a special fly spray that's a little bit stronger so these ponies can get some relief.
Here you go. Why, Zig? You looking at, Zig?
Zig has been pretty interested in the neighbors' cows these days.
Hey, girl. Bram.
It does look like Scarlet's
Okay,
leg
girls.
has
I'm
been
gonna bring you
going
two
down a
in.
little bit, but I still am going to
Okay,
need
girl.
to put a whole entire wrap on it this evening. Even though the fencing here is pretty safe, the tensioners do have a few little pokey bits on them that could definitely have been what Scarlet ran into. There is one roll of wire on the outside of their fence that she certainly could have poked herself on. It still is really odd that she got one poke on the outside of her leg and then one on the inside, but I'm so happy she didn't tear away her skin or anything crazy. Before I bring her in for the evening to get doctored, I do have to let these boys
Come on,
out.
Stewie. Come on, Stu Bean.
They must have really ran around a lot last night because they were not excited to get turned out onto the pasture. Stewie was first out, then Big Gus, then Little Gus.
Pete.
Pete was next, followed by
Whippy.
Whiplash and Goose. As usual, Whiplash
Whip.
had to come over and get a few scratches before going out onto the pasture. It has also been very
Pete.
interesting to see that Whiplash has taken over the herd again. He isn't messing around either because he does separate Studman.
Studman.
Every evening he stands at the gate and makes sure that he knows that he is not welcome in the herd unless he behaves appropriately. Studman swings it wide and then sneaks back over with the rest of the boys without causing any red flags to Whiplash. I'm really not sure what instigated this turn of events, but it seems like everyone is getting along really nicely now. Since the bugs have been so terrible, I have even considered placing a sprinkler inside their dry lot so it stays a little bit wet and they can roll around in the mud, so they might get some natural protection. I don't know that it would work the same way that I expected to in my head though. This fly trap has been out for about an hour and it looks like it hasn't really caught anything. They sure are stinking up the place, so hopefully soon they'll start working. In addition to the stinky traps, I also got Pearl and Frisco some gigantic fly traps that seem to be doing a pretty good job. After her ordeal from this morning, Pearl seems to have recovered, but she just does not seem like the same happy old gal that she was a couple of weeks ago. Since Frisco and Pearl's tiny pasture has been used up already, I did take down all of the fencing in preparation for the move and mowed over all of the extra grass. The last time I went to turn them out, Pearl didn't even want to come out of her stall, so she is acting a lot differently than she typically does. Frisco has also been acting a little bit weird around her, so I think he knows that she is not feeling well. Over the last couple of weeks, they have become pretty close, and I think Frisco really likes having a horse that's closer to his age. He does get along with Nigel really well, but depending on the time of the year, he can find him a little bit annoying. Today, I finished packing the front of the trailer, so it is jammed full with everything from the tack room. I trimmed a few of the horse's feet so I stay caught up.
Look who showed up.
Frisco has had a fan in his stall for quite a
Hey,
while,
boy.
but recently he's really started to enjoy the breeze that takes away all of the bugs.
Come on, Zig. Good boy.
A little silver lining with Scarlet's injury is that I can now bring Ziggy, Prim, and Scarlet in every evening and morning. I wanted to do some trailer training with these three before the big trip, so I'm going to start by feeding them in their stalls, and then I'm actually going to move it into the trailer.
Come on, girls.
By the time it's their turn to leave, they'll be loading and unloading and enjoying their snacks in an unfamiliar place. Of course, any changes to the normal schedule have to go past Tiny.
Come on, Tiny.
I don't think she's too suspicious of the move yet, but with the barn slowly getting emptied out, I think she is on high alert these days.
Prim.
There's no doubt in my mind that last night when Prim was out, she was strutting it around for the boys. She has been able to keep her wits about her when she's handled though, so she's gonna go into the barn and get a special little snack as well. After they finish their special dinner, then I can get to doctoring Scarlet's leg. I'm not sure, but this may be the first time that I'm tying Scarlet in the barn. I was not real confident in her ability to ground tie for this. These days, I really like to use runner's relief to sweat horses' legs. I think it works a bit better and is less caustic than some of the concoctions horse people use. I'm also pretty sure this is the first time I am wrapping Scarlet's leg, so she was a rock star for this. It's always nice to see the fruits of my labor, and I was really proud that Scarlet stood still and let me doctor her in no time at all this evening. Prim's cut is almost completely healed up, but I'm gonna continue doctoring it until it is all better. The whole time I was in the barn, Tiny was there supervising to make sure I wasn't doing anything suspicious. She is going to have to get used to it though, because this is going to happen for the next week at least. I did end up putting a little bit too much of the sweat on her leg and the tape would not stick. This is a really tricky area to wrap, and since I don't have all of my veterinary supplies, I am just using a polo wrap and saran wrap. This can work in a pinch, but I might have to do something else tomorrow.
Come on, Zig.
As usual, Ziggy was a complete gentleman on his way out. Even though he really does love the girls and misses them when they're gone, he behaves pretty well comparatively speaking.
Hold on, Squig. It's your leg.
I really would have liked to wrap this girl's leg a little bit higher up, but it was so swollen that I was having trouble getting the Velcro in the right place. My vet did warn me that cellulitis is going to be a real concern with her injury, so I'm going to try and treat it as aggressively as possible.
They hate you.
Studman came back into the dry lot for some extra scratches this evening. The spot his little poke is on his face is really hard to keep any salve on, and it looks like he already wiped everything I put on earlier off. The swelling has gone down, and really it's just a scrape, so it is going to heal on its own. I can tell since he lost control of the herd that he is feeling a little bit down and out though.
Hey, girl.
As the sun was going down and I was winding down from the day, Tiny showed up to let me know I did an okay job with all of the changes today. I'm really glad that we gave ourselves so much time to move, because with so many horses, inevitably things like this are going to come up.
Come on.
I am a little bit hesitant to pack too many things into the back of the horse trailer just in case I need to use it. While Scarlet's emergency today didn't warrant a trip to the vet, there's no saying what these other horses could get themselves into.
Tiny.
Even though I got literally nothing done on my list that I had set aside for today, I do feel like I accomplished a lot. Since I won't be heading south tomorrow morning, I am going to do a bit more organizing around here. With all of my panels in one central location, I can start putting them up for sale. This pile is about a quarter of what I have here, so I do have quite a bit that would just be too many trips to take with me. With all of the chores done for the night, I'm going to head home, get some shut-eye, and then come back bright and early tomorrow and do this all again. After some time to process the schedule change, I rearranged some things around, and today I have a pretty good game plan together. Tiny also seems in a lot better spirits today than yesterday. Since my morning and evening routine do have to change in order to accommodate Scarlet's doctoring, I am going to head out and catch these three again.
Hey girls.
I was excited to see that Scarlet had her wrap on still. Her leg did get a bit smaller, so it's doing its job.
Boys. We're back for you, Zig.
We've been pretty lucky so far this year. There hasn't been a ton of smoke in the air, but it does look like today there's some wildfire smoke blowing in.
Boy, a good girl.
One of the big tasks for today is getting a few pieces of equipment ready to sell. That is going to include the little four-wheeler, the older truck, and then I am selling the lawnmower as well. Even though I do have a lot of things to get done today, it should be a relatively easy day.
Stewie. Little ghost. Girl. I'm coming, Zig. Come on, Zig.
Something very interesting that has happened is Frisco seems content to be friends with Ziggy now. There is the possibility that he's jealous he has more girlfriends, but I think these two boys might get along pretty well now. While it is nice having two girls to hang out with, I have the feeling that sometimes it's a little bit taxing for Ziggy. It's possible in the future that Frisco might get to be turned out with these three.
Come on, Ziggo!
I rewrapped Scarlet's leg just so it could have the benefit of the sweat for a few more hours. It will need to be taken off and her leg washed this evening.
Ziggo! Oh, Ziggo.
For her injury, it's really important that I tackle this in the beginning so it doesn't get out of hand. Hopefully it will be resolved by the time I have scheduled for them to leave. If it's not, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do about it.
Amscray.
She probably should not be standing on a trailer for that long of a ride with a leg that has cellulitis.
Come on.
With that being said, I'm going to try my darndest to get it resolved as quickly as possible. She's eating all of her medication well and is definitely walking better than she was yesterday, so that is a step in the right direction. After doing a few calculations about how many trips we're going to be making back and forth to the new property, it just made sense that I sell some of the equipment that I have. This truck has been perfect for me, but I have a feeling when I get down to the new place and we hopefully get a tractor, this girl is going to be obsolete. I want her to get the best home possible, so I am going to give her a thorough cleaning before I take her to the auction yard today. This is a little bit sad for me, but I know it's something that has to be done. With all the dust and grime around here, even though I do keep this truck relatively clean, I wanted to make sure that it was spick and span for the new owner. I'm in a little bit of a time crunch because they're only taking consignments for the auction today and maybe tomorrow if they have enough space. So I want to get her on the lot as quickly as possible. That's about as good of a job as I can do with the time I have today. So I better get this girl into town and then come back for the four-wheeler. It's been a little bit sad getting rid of a few things that I worked so hard to get. But since the trade-off is our own property, I think it is definitely going to be worth it. In addition to dropping off all of the equipment, I want to make sure that behind my house and the quarantine pen is spick and span. So I'm gonna head over there and do a little bit of sprucing up.
Girls sticking your legs through the fence. Girls. Oh, Mayor. Come on, Zig. Boy, Zig, go. Oh.
I was feeling pretty satisfied with what I had got done for the day, and then I noticed that poor Zig was having an allergic reaction to the fly spray that I put on him earlier. This girl needs to have her leg doctored and to get her antibiotics. I'm cutting it a little bit close tonight, but it was nice to see that there were some sandhill cranes out in the neighbor's pasture. These are one of my most favorite birds, and it was kind of cool to see a bunch of them together. Slowly but surely, I am continuing to check things off my list, and right now I feel like I'm in a pretty good place. I'm getting rid of a lot of things that I was having trouble letting go of, but now they're gone, I feel a lot better about it. I'm not sure if all of my fly traps made any bit of difference. It does not look like they're catching very many. The extra strength fly spray that I mixed up for the horses is also causing more troubles, especially since Ziggy has been having a pretty big reaction to it. Thankfully, none of the other horses seem to be having a problem with it, so tonight I'm only going to have to give Ziggy a bath. While Ziggy and the girls are eating, I'm going to drag their dry lot and get it situated for the evening, and then turn the boys out.
Come on, boys. Come on, boys. Come on, boys.
Even though it was a pretty long day today, the smoke made for a really pretty sunset.
Come on, boys.
Poor Zig got some antihistamines for his reaction, although he does seem to be in pretty high spirits still. Even Scarlet was kicking up her heels and running around after she had her bandage removed.
Girl. Tiny. Oh. Where's the bill?
Even though I really haven't moved anything yet, I am feeling pretty happy with how the move is going so far. I'm selling the things that I don't really need anymore and getting a little tractor fun going in the process. Tiny has kept me in line, and I have a feeling she's going to continue to do so until we move.
Careful, Tiny.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.
Come on, girl.